everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So getting closer to the right-hand edge, we are going to finish that this month, I think. Whether I reach a total of 15% is up in the air, so we'll see. Yeah, so today I'm working on flowers again and leaves, kind of at the bottom of my cutoff row 70s here, so I'm going to be doing some filling in there. And hopefully I won't make too many mistakes. Didn't sleep well last night. I don't really know why. It's just one of those things. Woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't go back to sleep for a couple of hours. Managed to fall asleep again for a little bit, but yeah, still kind of out of it, so. And yeah, today we have an air quality warning because it is lousy. Doing that already. Let's see, yeah. No, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of smoke in the air today, so unfortunately, yeah. It was a scorcher yesterday, and then today is not so nice. Definitely not going for a walk outside, that's for sure. Oh, here I go. So we have some confetti here. So hopefully it will be interesting for you all. All right, just going to check. I have part, okay, that's pretty short, yeah, so I won't bother trying to carry it over to the left. I will just start a new piece. Goodness. Dropped my needle and then had a hard time finding it again. There we go. Yeah, in fact, I realize now, after doing the math, if I want to reach 15%, I definitely will have to have this whole top pass done because, yeah, it's less than 15% to have that much done. So if I do make my goal, I'll have started the next pass across. But yeah, that might have been a bit ambitious. We will see. Like I say, no deadlines. I'm just estimates, and it'll get done when it gets done. Just going to enjoy the process as well as the progress. Okay, 931. Look at that, my percentage is 1, 2, 3, 4. 12.34. In fact, I think we'll be just under 13% when the first pass is done, if I remember correctly. Just gonna tack that thread down so it doesn't pull loose. Yeah, so I think I counted, I'm gonna do a total of 8 passes across this piece. The first 2 are gonna be 70 rows each, and then we have 60 after that. Probably go get some groceries later today. I didn't want to do it yesterday because yesterday was a scorcher. So I stayed inside where it was nice and air conditioned. Yeah, I'm spoiled. Yeah, unfortunately it's smoky outside, but oh well, what you gonna do? Yeah, so far there's only an air quality warning for today, but it often lingers for a while. Like I say, it usually clears up for a day or 2 and then comes back. thread should hopefully be enough to finish these. It'll be close. There we go, excellent. As long as it didn't knot, but I didn't want to say that while I was still stitching with it and jinx myself. Okay. I'm gonna come down here for a bit and fill in, since that's all I have to fill in there. So that's the cutoff point. Yeah, when I go to start the next pass, I'll have to change all the colors in my working tray because there's no flowers on that side. Back to sky and water. Not sure if it's ocean or lake, but yeah. Then we'll get to do more of the peacock. The next pass, I don't think we'll quite get into his tail feathers yet. It'll be sort of the rest of his neck and chest and sort of just at the very top of his tail feathers. And then, yeah, it'll be the third pass when we get to the really interesting bits of his tail. 794. Oh dear. Oh, goodness. Pardon me. Pulled something loose there. Okay, so that'll be there, that one. Yeah, sometimes when you're stitching, it can sort of pull a thread that's parked and not ended off a little loose, so I just wanted to find out which it was so I could just snug it up so that it stays looking nice and neat. I find especially sort of if you come up in the hole where the thread is not ended off yet, you can pull it loose more easily. So do have to watch for that. Although there are ways of snugging it up. I did a short little video of that without having to rip it back out, which is obviously something I want to avoid whenever I can. Yeah, undoing always takes a lot more work than doing it in the first place, I find. Putting the stitch in way faster than ripping it out. This piece of thread is extremely short. We'll see if I can manage it. Oh yeah. lot of colors in this little area here. Well, makes up, I suppose, the last few diagonals was mostly walls, so there were not as many colors. So I parked in that end because I'm going to be parking again to the left, so it's a little closer. And either side of the run was 1 stitch away, so yeah, sometimes that happens, especially when the threads are shorter. They get unthreaded a little more easily. Try to use the ones that are already attached first, especially when I can end them off, because then that's one less thread to deal with. Yeah, I've seen some people, they don't like to have any threads hanging along the bottom edge. Only park to the side, but yeah, no. I park either way. Totally a matter of personal preference, though. All right, we are back. Yeah, been having issues with my voicemail, so I didn't want to just oh, you're not going to start that again, are you? Yeah, I didn't want to just leave the voicemail to get it because I've been having issues with trying to access it. Big pain. So I wondered if it was going to be another auto dialer scam call, but I had to answer it on the chance that it was not. But it was not, so. Oh, this thing. Okay, I am going to close out Pattern Keeper and reopen it, because, yeah, the last time this happened, okay, yeah, that is what I ended up having to do so that it would stop popping the top menu open every time I was trying to select a new color. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was extremely irritating. But at least now I know how to fix it. Okay, so we're at 37,907 total. So we should end up at 38, I would think, during this session. Yeah, so my original goal, because I started at about 30,000, was to reach about 45, but I think that might have been a bit ambitious. Yeah, because we're about halfway through the month now, and yeah, I haven't closed in on 40, so I think my reach may have extended my grasp. Isn't that always the worst, though? When you're trying to reach something and you can just barely touch it, but the more you try to grab it, the more you push it away. Yeah, it's so frustrating. Okay, I have a thread of this parked up here. Let's see how long it is. It is a longer one, that's what I thought. Okay, so I'm just going to use a short one to do this. One stitch in the corner, that other thread is going to carry down. Yeah, to continue on to do this area here. Okay. Once I get these threads tied off, I will tidy them up a bit at the bottom there, tuck them away. Goes from chaos to neat and back again. Yeah, I think that's all we'll get out of this bit of thread here. And then we'll carry another one down from the top again. So yeah, this right here is row 500, and then it's 550. So, and I've got, because it's diagonal, the stuff at the top is getting very close to the edge, like within one column. So yeah, I would say having this pass filled in by the end of the month is definitely a doable, achievable goal. Oopsie. Yeah, let's not do that. I tell you. But yeah, when I used to do cross stitch that had French knots in it, I could not do a French knot to save my life. I could only do them unintentionally. I remember I was doing a sampler that had little gingerbread men in it, and you had to do French knots for the eyes, and I could not do it. And ended up instead bringing up the thread and sort of going around and around and around and around and like sort of just building up the eye by, filling it in with the thread, because I tried French knots for like an hour and couldn't get the darn thing, so I gave up. Oh my gosh. And then my sister, who doesn't embroider, she can do them every time. Like, go figure. She's like, well, I just follow the directions. I'm like, well, I did too, but I don't know. They don't want to work for me. Isn't that the worst, right? Oh. Or it'll be funny the one time you try to show somebody that it's not working for you, and then it will work, right? Makes a liar out of you. Oh, it's like when you try to show the mechanic that weird noise your car's making, but it won't make the noise for the mechanic, only for you. Oh, after all that saying I was going to carry another thread from the top, I think this is probably going to run out. I'll have to join a new one anyway. Oh well. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, it's actually a little closer to reach over to these 2 stitches, and it's probably only long enough for 2 stitches, so I'm going to park it there instead of carrying it down to here. I actually will start a new piece of thread right there. Let's see if this will... Nope, no such luck. I may have to readjust my monthly goal to like 10,000 instead of 15,000 stitches. If I wasn't doing any work on Firefly, I guess I'd get the 15,000 no problem, but yeah. I want to get some Firefly done too, so... realized there was a thread parked to the left of that square, and that did not match what was on my pattern, so I had done something wrong. So like I said, I'm just gonna tidy these up a little bit, tuck them into my grind guard, and then they won't be getting tangled with my working threads. Oh, those are too uneven. So yeah, this here is 520, so like I said, we are getting close. Oops, pulled the wrong way. I'm still getting used to these colors. These symbols were different colors on the last pattern I worked, and this one was a blue, this checkerboard one, so I have to, yeah, make sure I'm paying attention. It's nice that Pattern Keeper puts the actual color next to it along that upper right-hand corner, so you can glance at it and make sure you are correct. Yeah, and then this one was a blue as well. Yeah, it seems all my ones that were blue on my last pattern are purple, and the opposite, all the ones that were purple are blue. So yeah. Oh, that is, yeah, not in the correct spot. Oh, I did warn you I was tired. Oh dear. Yeah, I may take a nap this afternoon. I don't normally do that, but oof. Had a few nights of bad sleep in a row, so it's definitely catching up with me. Oh, goodness. sometimes I will split up a block of color so that I can just keep carrying downwards and I don't have to go back up to the top yet to keep from closing stuff in. So yeah. Sometimes I find splitting it up just kind of helps me keep my rhythm going a little bit better, so that's what I do. It's a little chilly this morning, so I put on a sweater, but now I'm getting too warm, so. Okay, so let me take a look here. Yeah, I decided I was going to carry this one downwards. And the stitches between are done, so I'm just going to kind of thread along the back a little. I think this is the perfect length for this bunch of stitches here. A bit further than I want to carry, so I'm going to tie this off, rejoin later. Oh, we passed the 38,000 mark a couple stitches ago and I didn't notice. Yeah, because I would have to do another, oh yeah, like 7,000 to reach that original goal, which I think might be a bit ambitious. We'll see. I guess it depends because the start of the next pass is a lot of big blocks, although I did do quite a bit of it already. Yeah, with all that white sky, I extended a few rows down below the 70 when I was doing that. And then, yeah, now I'm kind of converting it to my usual diagonal path, so. All right, this is the one I said I was going to split up a bit. Do these three here. Then I didn't have to fill in everything above it yet. Obviously, I'm going to get to that at some point. For now, this means I could continue on downwards a little bit more before I have to go back up to the top again. Oops. Oh, yeah, that's not gonna work. That's why I try to keep the threads generally taut out of the way, but yeah, sometimes. Do the last 2 stitches here with that thread. Different one for the other ones. Oop, doing it again. That's no good. Oh gosh. 3rd time now. Okay, so go back up a bit, not to the very top, but sort of to the top of this section here for a while. So yeah, you can see I'm not really following the diagonals that are on the pattern, just kind of doing whatever makes sense to me for now. Just gonna unthread these for a minute so I can detangle these threads here. Pulling the one out there is kind of threatening to cause a problem, so there we go. Now I was able to pull it out smoothly, so it will not tangle. So yeah, probably gonna cut it off about here, go on downwards, and then back up to the top again, probably to the very top. That won't be this session, I don't think. Oh, look at that, we passed 200. Woohoo. So I think I may wrap this up pretty soon. Yeah, because we made quite good progress this session. I'm quite happy with that, over 200. And yeah, we passed the 38,000 total. So yeah, like I said, my goal was 45. We'll see. I'm going to estimate we're going to be around 40, 42 maybe thousand. Well, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I think I'll do these ones I've highlighted, and then that'll be 215, and that's where I'm going to take a break. So yeah, sorry I wasn't as talkative today, but my throat's pretty sore with that really bad air today, more so than it has been for a while. And like I said, I didn't sleep well, so I'm tired. But I hope you still enjoyed stitching with me today. I enjoyed it. All right, just gonna park that there. Make sure that I mark it. So 215 and 12.4%. So we started at 0.34% and got up to 0.4%. So yeah, pretty happy with that progress for today. But as usual, thank you for joining me today, and hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.